So what would you say on that? So let's say you're recruiting somebody and you get a conversation with a new agent who has a poor mindset or a broke mindset, and they have a license, they have the ability to write, but mentally that's what's causing them frustrations in the business. What would be your first like step in getting him in the right direction?
Thanks for joining us this week on the Elite Sales Podcast. I'm joined in studio this week by John Bacaron,
How we doing?
FFL Elite Syndicate, and we got Yoel, Aynalem, typically behind the camera, but this time in front.
I'm behind and in front at the same time.
Mixing from the front.
Producing and co-hosting at the same time. What a man of many talents.
This takes skill.
Tremendous amounts.
Only I could do this. No, I'm just kidding.
Hope you don't mess up.
Yeah,
It's pretty hard to mess up, but
today we actually have a very special guest joining us. A good buddy of mine, someone that's is just doing really well within the company, and someone that we've been watching and tracking. He's his team FFL Illuminate has been growing at a tremendous pace. We've also, John and I have gotten a chance to speak to him one-on-one, and just it makes sense why his team is growing. It makes sense why the guys on his team are increasing their production. Why his team is growing in volume is because they have a very good system in place, and they're putting in the work. And if you are able to have people to talk to, you're able to consistently put in that work and help enough people, why wouldn't you grow? So I got Harold Durana with FFL Illuminate. You guys go by Virtual Illuminate Team. Is that your
virtual team? Yeah, Illuminate virtual team. Yeah.
All right.
Kind of rebranded.
All right. Okay. So you guys do all virtual, right?
100% telesales. Actually, not. I mean, virtual sales, like it's a wide, thing. But
Right.
nobody does the Zoom thing with clients. Once in a while. I mean, it does happen once in a while. When you get into more advanced market sales, yeah, you'll jump onto a Zoom with a client for like illustration purposes.
Okay. Well, let me just back up for a second. Why don't you introduce yourself a little bit and just tell people where how we knew each other from before, where you're from, what got you into FFL, all that good stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. So again, yeah, my name is Harold. I've been in the insurance industry for a while. Just basically the same as like Albert here. I started in 2009. 2009 is when I started just my venture into doing insurance, right? And when I first started, it was just more like, I used to do cell phones. Like a lot of people did cell phones prior. I had a friend of mine who was like, yo, you should come over here, just try this insurance thing. It pays pretty well. You should try it. I was 21 years old at the time. So, you're 21, you're just like, all right, whatever, I have nothing to lose. I'm 21, it's fine, I'll try it. And actually tried it, I liked it, got really good at it, and stuck to it. So that's exactly how I know Albert, because prior to, we were at a different company. Yeah. And I was there for years, and I've seen, Albert's face all over the place there. So same company, just different agencies, just like
That's
here.
hilarious. I actually right before I did insurance, I did cell phones too. Right before I came over.
You Filipinos and cell phones.
Yeah,
like T-Mobile, Verizon's.
Yeah, I did everything. I did it even when it was singular.
Wow. I remember
So I did it all the different carriers, even Sprint, T-Mobile, everything you think of. But what was good though is that because of that, I actually developed people skills really quickly. Like being able to talk to people, like random people, right? Because you'd like in that industry, you're like harassing random people,
Yeah.
But yeah, that helped me with my transition into insurance because it was just talking to random people. So it was great. It was awesome. So, but yeah, I was at the last company over 12 years. Pretty wild. 12 years, had a good run. I enjoyed it, liked it, and at a certain point, you do something and you do it very well and you enjoy it, you like it, but at a certain point, you kind of like, I guess it's that point of maturity, quote unquote maturity, right? You take a step back and you actually really look at everything, right? Most of the time you're blinded by your own personal success and your own personal income, that you're making a lot of money, you're doing really well. And, mind you, as a 20-something-year-old, when you're, 20s, early 30s, you're making a lot of money. It feels great. It's awesome. But then, you get to a point where, again, you take that step back, that maturity level hits, and you're like, but my team, you look back and you look at your team and, you're like, whoa, they're really not doing well. I'm doing well. It's great, you know. And Isaiah Tatamy is the one that got me over here, and he really, punched me in the face with it, right? It's like you look at it and you see all these people who are not they're not making a living. They're scraping, right? And it's not, you don't feel good, right? For to have those uncomfortable conversations of like, I'm not going to make my bills or whatnot. And it was too frequent, and it got to be more and more and more frequent, and then it got more and more uncomfortable, and then again that maturity hits you and you're like, whoa, what am I really doing, right?
So how did Isaiah get to talk to you?
Yeah,
Because
how'd
he's
you know
all the way in the
Isaiah?
East Coast, right?
He's in Utah. Well,
At
now
that
he
time.
was in Utah originally. Now he is in Florida.
Got
But
it.
prior to it was somebody else. It was somebody in between that connected us.
John Harden,
And
right?
what was that?
John.
No, it was a different guy. His name is Walter. He connected us. We talked, had a conversation. Because again, there was a huge movement to FFL with the Josh Williams. He sparked that huge movement, and I was part of that agency as a whole, the big agency of it. And when he moved, everybody's eyes open. Everybody's like, yo, what's going on over there? Why does everybody keep moving? And that's what it was like, you know what, let me have this conversation to see why. And you follow these people, right? You follow them, you see all this, writing business, you see, back then when people were posting numbers and all that good stuff, so you could see it. And, like at the end of the day, right, we always say numbers don't lie. And you see it, you see the numbers, and then you compare comp to comp, and you're like, wait, they're getting paid twice as much? That doesn't make sense. And then you get to that, that reality. And this is where Isaiah hit me with, was, yo, like, even the people that you have, because he asked me, like, who's making it, who makes 6 figures? What about your bottom people? What are your bottom people making? And at the end of the day, you have a bottom agent, a new agent, or an agent not necessarily killing it, and they're writing, 5 policies a month or something like that, because they're new.
Right.
When you're at an agency where you are only getting paid half or less than half, even at that, most of the time it's less than half. Who can survive off of that?
Yeah.
Right. Whereas, as a manager, when you're over there, you're like, yo, I'm doing good. I'm doing great. Because if you have 10 of those, 20 of those, 30 of those, 40 of those, oh, you're killing it. You're doing amazing. You're doing amazing. Your income is through the roof. But then again, you're blinded by it, right? It's terrible. You're blinded by it. And then you look and you're like, yo, barely making bills. And then you take that switch and you go, hey, that bottom guy who writes 5 policies a month or whatnot, imagine them being on 100% comp. Now what changes? You think they'll make their bills? Yeah, absolutely. Now they're going to be okay. They can make it.
I remember, coming back from that old company, it's like, yeah, as a manager, it felt like you were climbing a lot of people's backs to make that money. Yeah. And then these guys, you feel bad because they were working hard. They're in the dials with you. They're out there in the field door knocking with you, right?
Yeah.
Well, not all of them were working hard. Let's be honest.
Yeah.
But for the people that are actually trying, for the people that actually
I felt bad about that.
submitted to the opportunity and they actually gave it their all. Yeah, you felt terrible about that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Some people can't help themselves.
And as a manager, whenever those conversations happen, what did you tell them? Oh man, you just need to dial more.
Right.
It's like, well,
You need to collect more referrals.
You need to get more referrals. You need to dig deep. It's like, no, I need opportunities. I don't need, busy work. I need actual sit down opportunities. And then, yeah, so that's what really sparked that transition for me to move, because it just, and the reality is this, and there's some people on here who I've worked with in the past as well. I mean, they can tell I took a pay cut to come here. I took a gigantic one, right? And it was and mind you, coming over here is zero, not knowing nothing, trying to figure it out. Like, oh my, I'm walking into something brand new, and but consciously, it felt good, right? Yep. And I'm looking at my wife and my kids, and I'm like, I'm gonna make this change for my conscience. I'm gonna feel good about it because everybody not sure I'll take a pay cut, but guess what? Everybody on my team got a pay increase by double.
So when you say you took a pay cut, I mean, you saw the bigger picture though. You saw how
Yeah,
it
absolutely.
ultimately will help you grow your business if you did this.
Yeah, of course. But I mean, right off the bat, right? You go from team making a good income, then you go, all right, I'm gonna go somewhere else and completely start all over to do something I don't even, it's hard.
Not just that, but you said you started in 08, 09, so you had renewals on the line too, right?
Yeah. So I mean, I'm vested.
Yeah, so
a
were
little
we.
different. Yeah.
You still get them? That must be nice.
Yeah.
So were we.
Yeah. But it was a scary jump. I mean, to be quite honest, it was absolutely scary. I mean, mind you, you're looking at your spouse like, yo, I know we make this much, we live like this. I'm gonna go over there to completely start all over, but everybody is gonna be winning. My whole team's gonna be winning. Everybody's gonna be making more.
What was it about FFL that I guess was it a bunch of things, or was there one thing that kind of made you be like, okay, this is worth kind of the risk of going over there?
It was a lot of things, to be honest. It was a lot of things. It was, again, I mean, everybody says it, comp, right? Comp was there, sure. But it wasn't necessarily comp for me. It was comp for my team, right? Everybody doubled up. So that was like a big, like, yo, you can write the same amount, make more money, right? Then accessibility to all the different carriers, right? Because you're looking at it and you're talking to these clients and you're like, oh, you have high blood pressure, diabetes. Oh, sorry, I can't get you anything, right?
Yep.
Right now you come over here, you're like, oh, high blood pressure, diabetes, that's fine. You're still in most carriers, you're still in a preferred category, and that not having to say no to a client, right? And when they really want it, they really need it. It's very important to them, right? Now it's like, yo, I actually have the opportunity to be able to cover them, or even seniors, right?
Yeah.
Giving them a senior product at the last company, that senior product, I mean,
4 year.
Yeah, sheesh. It wasn't, we weren't doing good for the client at all. It was more expensive and it was graded whether you're healthy or not.
Mhm.
Didn't even make sense. So, products, the systems and process here were a lot different, being more independent. With the last, company, we were tied to the Zoom, right? It was like, it'd be like 9 o'clock in the morning and it's like, yo, it's 9:01. Where are you? Like, what do you mean it's 9:01? Where am I? Like, it's 9:00. Yeah, where are you at? Why are you not here? Like, and it's, you leave the Zoom, everybody's camera's on, sure, you leave the Zoom and everybody notices and everybody's like, yo, where you at? Why'd you leave? It's like, yo, can I get lunch? Like, is it, or even at the end of the night, it's like, yo, where'd you go? Like, we run till 9 p.m. Like, like, when do I have time to live?
And this is you and upper management being micromanaged.
This is everything. Like, yeah. And mind you, I even had to enforce it and I hated it. It was the worst. Having to enforce that didn't feel good, again, because mind you, like, I have kids, spouse. I know what it's like. I want to go have dinner too. Like, I want to play with my kids. I want to relax, or even taking vacations, right? They make you'd have a guilt trip. Like, yo, you're just going to leave your people hanging? Like, yo, I'm just taking one day off, man. Is that okay? Like, geez. That's what you're gonna do? You're just gonna let your people fail? Like, what? How? Like, and it was just a different, it didn't feel good, right? And mind you, everybody is in a different season in their life, right? It's just, and at that point, my season of life was, yo, I have a family, I have kids, I have a spouse, these people depend on me, and I also, time. When do I get my time back? It's valuable. There's no refund on time. you can't, you gotta maximize your time. Like, my kids are growing, they're getting older, I have 2 younger ones, but it's spending that time, that quality time is non-existent when you're glued to a Zoom Monday through Friday and Saturday mornings on top of that too, right? Right. Even that was push.
So before you came into FFL, your whole team was already on virtual.
Yes. So we were already doing virtual. So that's why that transition to virtual was somewhat easier, right? It to a certain extent. It wasn't like this. The thing is, it's not the same, right? Because it is technically bait and switch. It is what it was. It is what it is. Prior to now, It's like you're having these conversations of people who are like, "Yo, I filled. Yeah, I did fill that out. Yes, I do want mortgage protection. Yes, I do want final expense. You're like, huh? So how do I handle this conversation? It was
be true.
weird. It was very weird at first. It was like, wait, I'm confused, you know? So, but yeah, that transition was a little bit easier because we did Zoom. I did start off on Zoom when I got here.
Right.
And then a conversation I had with Isaiah after like my first week, because he was like, yo, you did that all on Zoom? And I'm like, yeah. And he was like, oh, that's cool. He's like, oh yeah, you could even do it on the phone. And I was like, wait, what? What do you mean I could do it on the phone? He's like, yeah, you don't actually have to get on Zoom with people. We just do it. You could do it. That's fine. But you could do everything telesales. And I was like, wait, so I don't have to put on a polo, a button up. I don't have to have I don't have to do my hair.
You braided up your hair immediately.
Yeah. So that was also and then I transitioned to telesales and I never looked back. And it's just been pure telesales since then.
Well, I was gonna rewind real quick. Earlier you said when you first got into the industry, you were selling cell phones, and then you got into the insurance industry with the other company. What about the insurance industry appealed to you?
I was pretty much I was your typical 20 or 21-year-old kid, right? It was like I actually used to work with this person that got me in the business. She was in the cell phone industry. She started doing insurance. I don't know how she got there, but she was like, yo, you should check out this insurance thing. I make more money now. And, I'm like, no way. I was like, there's no way you're making insurance. That doesn't even make sense. Started showing me checks. Back then we were doing paper checks. So showing me actual paper checks. I was like, let me see. Is it real? I was like, oh, that's a real check. I'm like, okay. They're like, oh, I made this in a week. I'm like, all right, that's different. So, and I was like, all right, I'll give it a shot. Why not? What do I have to lose? And it's funny because I even told my mom, I was like, yo, I'm going to try this insurance thing. She was like, she understood insurance. And she was like, okay, well, you know what? Give it a shot. And then when you're done with that, go to school, finish school, go do something else.
Classic.
The typical Filipino, go be a nurse, go to the medical
get your nursing degree.
So that's what it was. And then, obviously I never left.
So, I mean, did you embrace the sales side of things? So I feel like I've always known you as like a builder. It's someone that's built and managed teams. I mean, when you got into the insurance industry, was it like this personal sales side of it, the ability to make that money? Was that appealing, or was it like, hey, I can build a team, I can build something substantial for a future?
Again, 21 years old, right? What do you think of? Like, oh, I need to make a lot of money so I can buy all these things that I don't actually need. And that's really what it was for me, right? Hey, be a personal producer, write a lot of business. And I was, right? And I made all the mistakes that anybody else makes, right? And it actually applies here. It happens all the time. Write a lot of business. And all of a sudden, you write 10 policies in a week and you're like, yo, it's vacation time. I'm out of here. I'm going to go take a vacation. And then you spend it all. And then you're like, uh-oh. Yo, Albert, I'm broke, dude. What do I do? Like, all right, I got to go back to work, and that's what it was for me. And it was like that never ending cycle for my first year because I didn't know any better. I was just like, go to work, write some biz. I didn't actually understand the business completely until my first year was done, because that first year ended the next month, that 13th month, I got a renewal and I got that check and I looked at it and I was like, because, they used to pass out paper checks back then.
Yeah. Right.
Here's your check. And I got it and I was like, yo, I think they, I remember talking to somebody, I was like, yo, I think they messed up. They gave me another check. I was like, I think they messed up. I got this extra check. And mind you, at that time, and I can tell you, it was $, I specifically remember it was a little over $100. And I was like, yo, they messed up and gave me an extra bonus. So, what I did was I went straight to the bank, put it in the bank, came back to my manager at the time, was like, yo, I think they messed up. I don't know what it is. They gave me another check. And he was like, where is it? I was like, I already deposited. You can't have it back. I was like, I'm not giving it back. It's gone. It's in my bank. And he was like, no, dude, this is your renewals. I was like, what? And that was absolutely eye-opening. And it was like, yo, these are from policies that I wrote prior to, and then now I'm getting paid again on it. Like, well, that's crazy. You know, you always hear about it, right? Oh, renewals are great, but it doesn't mean anything for most people until you actually feel it.
So that wire
You
hits.
feel it and you're like, whoa, that's different.
Right.
It's not like it's not a bonus. It's not a, extra, a raise or, on hours or whatever your previous jobs or whatever it may be. It's a real extra check from work you did prior. Different. And that was a big turning moment for me. It was like, yo, this can continue to grow. Yep. Whoa. Then from there, it was like, all right, now what? And you're seeing all these people build their teams, put these teams together. And I was like, I can do that. And you're looking around, you're like, yo, you want a job? Yo, you want a job? Yo, you want a job? We didn't know. I didn't understand. It was like, yo, does anybody want a job? like I make pretty good money. You guys want to join me? And I'd get like one or two people jump in and like, yo, just come with me in the field and just see what I do. And they would watch me talk to clients and all right, I could do this. And then it slowly, you're like, whoa, this is different. Then you get those manager bonuses and it's a different ballgame. Now you're like, okay, I could keep doing this over and over and over again. Right. So it's addictive, right? In that sense. Right. And then at the end of the day, again, when that maturity hits and all that stuff, you're changing people's lives, not just the clients. Of course, the clients first, right? Always. You're taking care of the clients, making sure that ripple effect of their family is taken care of, right? Something happens, right? But at the end of the day, taking somebody who works a 9-to-5 job, not making enough money, barely making their ends meet, and you take them here, you show them a different way to go and say, hey, look, let me help you double your income. Let me make sure that you're ahead, okay? Make sure that you're not just getting by. Let me make sure you're getting ahead. And being able to show them that, and then you see that, and that ripple effect of them taking care of themselves, their family, their kids, their brother, sister, cousin, uncle, aunt, whoever it is. But seeing that is extremely powerful. Like you can't beat that. Best feeling in the world to be able to help somebody change the trajectory of their life.
Right.
Amazing.
Yeah, I think that's a very overlooked facet for us as professionals in the insurance industry or the financial services industry. Every once in a while we'll have some agents that'll be like, oh, they rescinded this policy, or they won't pay me out because they still need this amendment or they need this whatever. And I'm like, and then they're kind of upset and they have this tone, which I mean I get on a personal level because everyone wants to get paid, everyone's got bills, right? So yeah. I get that part, but then they start to get into this negative mode of like, oh, but they won't pay me because of this, and and I'm like, but you didn't help anybody. Like, why do you expect them to pay you if like that person's not covered, that job that you're supposed to be doing? So you got to see it all the way through. If you don't do that, why do you deserve that money?
Yeah. And then also, it's a very selfish thing at the start. And you got to be selfish, right? You come in here, you want money, you want to make money, you want to take care of yourself. But once you're able to get by and take care of yourself, once you're able to pay your bills, what is the most rewarding thing that you can get out of here? With FFL, with growing a team, helping others, helping clients, and helping agents get to where their levels are at. And so that's been a rewarding point for you. How long have you been in management from that first year and up from the last company?
After the first year, I was like, okay, I could do this. So after the first year, I've been a manager the whole entire time. I've always managed a team all the way through and through. And it was, and never at one point did I ever like go, oh, I want to be a personal producer again. No, it was, again, that I got addicted to that ripple effect of taking care of somebody, showing them the way. And of course, obviously still blinded by income, when I was doing that, but just, and it's, it continued. And I liked it. Again, you like it. You like training. Like I like training. I like knowledge. I like gaining knowledge and I like giving knowledge. Right. So it's addictive. You have fun doing it. Then it becomes fun.
Once you got a taste for it, you can't go back.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, just exactly what John was saying, you're selfish in the beginning, right? Because I mean, that's just like anybody, right? You go into any job, any new job or anything like that, or any new career, it's always something, quote unquote, to a certain extent, selfish, right? Yeah. It's yes, I need to try to make this income and then and then you actually see it, right? Especially when you get a death claim. Oh, the minute you get a death claim, completely different. You look at what we do, so different. And even being a product of it, right? If somebody in your family passes away or somebody, your parents or just some family member passes away, seeing the effects, right? Of not having anything in place versus having something in place. When you when you actually have firsthand experience, the way you look at what we do changes big time.
Yeah.
Big time.
Yeah, no, I totally feel that, especially with the live DAOs that we all do. I mean, the thing is, like, sometimes I'm on there and I just like watching people make sales or people report their sales. Like, I'm not even thinking about like what the AP amount or anything is. I'm just like, oh, that's cool. I mean, like, they help that family. That family's protected now, right? So I mean, I don't know how much coverage they most of the time what they got, but I'm just like, at least they got something. So
Yeah.
it's a good feeling. Going back to something you said earlier too. I mean, you said you made all the typical mistakes in the first year, which you would say it took you maybe about a year for you to really learn the business or
Yeah,
manage
to a
it?
certain extent, to get good
Okay.
and smart, and to be smart about it.
Okay.
That-
All right.
That's really what it is.
I'm
You
still
know, you
waiting for
get
that.
all the mistakes.
All right. Well,
Right?
so, I'm
Go
sorry.
ahead.
Well, I was gonna say, so it took you about a year to learn this business, because we get new agents all the time. They come in, they have their ups and downs, and then they're just thinking they're the only one going through it, and their situation is so unique. When in reality, we've all been through that same thing.
Yeah.
So if it took you about a year to get good at it or to understand the business, you were, before you said you made a few sales, you take a vacation, you made a few sales, you go
Yeah.
and go party or do whatever you do. At what point did you flip that switch and realize, no, I can't keep doing this, or else I'm gonna constantly have these ups and downs? Like what
It's
made you realize that?
I would usually that first year, right? First year in the business. I mean, this applies not just for me at the prior company. This applies here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, because you make mistakes, meaning again, you work, then you stop working. Because then you're like, oh, I'm good. I made some money, I'm content. You know, then what a lot of people do is they go, well, looks like I wrote 10 policies in 5 days. I'm gonna try 4 now. Let me try 3 days. Oh, I could do it in 2 now. You know what? Let me just try to do it in 1 day. Let me see what I could do in 1 day. And then what happens? Your consistency goes down the drain. You're not, there's no flow anymore, right? And then everything starts to slow down. And then you're like, yo, this doesn't work for me. This is Albert. This is not working. I don't know what it is. Then you're like, okay, well, let's look at your schedule. Well, how come you didn't work? Like, how come you only worked 2 days this week?
Right.
Well, I thought I could do everything in 2 days. It was like, no, you got to keep it consistent. Consistency is extremely important, right? It's just keep doing it and doing it the right way. And that's where it, like, again, that I fell into those traps and I was saying that, right? Yo, I'm broke. It's like, well, you haven't worked in a week. Yeah, but I'm broke though. Like, well, you bought all of these things, like I love it. You got fresh suits and you got all these shoes. It was great, but I'm broke. It's like, what do I do? Go back to work, right? Do it again. And then you get into that. That's why I'm now in that mentality of you got to get ahead, right? Before you can do anything reckless, quote unquote reckless, buy things, do things you want to do, you need to be ahead first. So I preach that a lot. You need to be ahead first. If you are not ahead first, don't make those money mistakes that most people do. It's not smart, right? Because you learn, right? And again, you get those interest-free loans from the carriers. Okay.
You're advanced.
So you get you write the business and you might have not even cemented it properly, or you pressed on it way too hard and really just forced the deal in and got an interest-free loan, got that policy, put it in, cancel, interest-free loan. Okay. Then you're like, and it happens, right? And then you're like, oh my gosh, what do I do? I'm in a hole. But it's, if you were consistent and you were doing the job properly, you wouldn't be in those situations of desperation. Right. You wouldn't be sitting there like, yo, I have to write this. Yo, I'm gonna push for this one. You wouldn't be in that position if you did the job correctly and consistently, right? Because if you're consistently writing business, you don't have to worry about your next deal, right? Your next policy that you're gonna write. You're not in that stressful, situation. And it happens, right? Because the thing is, here's the thing, right? Let's say you've written 5 policies for the week already, and you're only halfway through. What's interesting is that all of a sudden, all the ones that you keep writing, because you're walking into an appointment and you're so stress-free because you're like, yo, I've already written 5. I feel good. I'm great. And you're walking in and you're not sitting there sweating, trying to like, oh my gosh, I hope they say yes. You don't have that feeling anymore. You're like, yo, I'm just gonna take care of this family. Let me just do what I gotta do and do it the right way. No pressure.
Yeah, you're not acting out of desperation, which oftentimes people do that, and it's not because like, hey, I'm all of a sudden broke. It's like it took you some steps to get to this point in which you feel like you're broke. Which, by the way, broke is it's a state of mind.
Yeah.
It's not
Mindset.
your, not your current financial position. So if you constantly say you're broke, it's because you got a broke state of mind.
You got a broke attitude and broke mindset.
Yeah, your mindset's broke.
I see what you did there.
You know what I'm saying?
This is why we have him on as a
Yep.
co-host.
I'm smart.
No, but I mean, yeah, when people say they're broke, I mean, I think people need to take a step back and actually reevaluate what it actually is. Because no, you're not broke. You just haven't been working. Or if you have been working, your plan for work has sucked.
Yeah.
It's not the right one. And you need to take a step back and actually just look at it like, what am I doing? And then if you're trying to fix it, be okay with not fixing it right away either. Like it might take you a little bit of time to kind of ramp back up because your poor planning or the actions that you didn't take up to this point, it sets you far back, and you'll take a little bit of time sometimes to legitimately fix it, not to just make another desperate sale. That's probably not a stick, and you're probably gonna build a bigger hole for yourself. So
Yeah.
you got to start with that real intent of wanting to fix your own problems to make it work.
So what would you say on that? So let's say you're recruiting somebody and you get a conversation with a new agent who has a poor mindset or a broke mindset, and they have a license, they have the ability to write, but mentally that's what's causing them frustrations in the business. What would be your first step in getting him in the right direction?
Yeah, that's a good question actually. So with a lot of our new people coming in, it's mentality, right? It's a mentality thing. Now, it's who you surround yourself with at the end of the day. So, for example, within our team, standard wise, our standard is 10,000 or 10 policies a week. That's
10
like a
families?
standard.
10 families.
10 families, 10 families a week. That is our standard, right? So when when you're sitting there and everybody is saying, oh, I got to hit 10, I got to hit 10, I got to hit 10, I got to hit 10. You're a new person. Where does your standard become? Oh, I got to hit 10. And here's the thing, right? If your standard is 10 and you hit 7, 8, you'll be okay. I promise.
You're not bad.
If you do 7 or 8 a week, you'll be all right, but you hit that 10. And it's funny because in our team, our saying is this: once you hit 10, you can start counting. It's like that's just the mentality. And the thing is as a new person, you are seeing people work, do it properly, you're seeing the good habits. And now your mentality says, well, I got to do 10. And it's all about who you surround yourself with. So when new people are in a bad, funk, mentality, it's like, yo, this is what I need you to do. I want you to spend some time and sit with these people, sit in the room with these guys, sit in the breakout room with them all day long and listen to their conversations. Like you'll see people at the end of the week, they're like, I hit, I did 8, and they're like, man, I feel terrible. like I didn't hit 10, So it's it's just that standard switch, that mentality switch. Just change it. Change what, because people will hit 5, for example, they'll do 5. If their standard is 5 and they hit 2 and 3, I mean, you lose one deal, your whole world crumbles, right? You lose half of that, your world crumbles. You write 10, one of them falls off, 2 maybe, you're still going to be okay, right? Because at the end of the day, the objective is what? Get ahead, right? If your standard is 5, that's just you're just still doing paycheck to paycheck, still trying to get by. That's not the objective, right? You got to push yourself so you can get ahead.
So to make the mind shift, that's your best recommendation, to just surround yourself with other people, get on the Zoom calls or
Yep.
your team calls.
Yeah, you have to be surrounded by people who are like-minded or have that positive attitude, because your whole negativity gets drowned out completely, right?
All right, let's role play a little bit. Let's say I'm an agent that's been around for about a year. I haven't done much, haven't bought many leads, haven't really wanted it to work. And then all of a sudden I'm desperate for money. I come to you and say, hey, Harold, man,
Save me.
I really need to make some money, man. Like
Yeah.
my mortgage is due. I got all these bills. My girlfriend's going to leave me. Like, I'm willing to work, man. I've always been willing to work. I'm super coachable,
I'm ready. Save me.
but I don't buy any
I'm-
leads. I don't do anything. What do you like? What do you?
I'm gonna tell you exactly. This is exactly what I do. Like, I'm not. This is no sugarcoat, no nothing. I'm gonna tell you really. This, I first and foremost, I go, what are your bills? Like, what are you making? Like, what do you need to make? How much do you need? You know, what are your, what's your output? How much money do you have currently? What are you looking at? What's your financial situation? Of course, I need to identify that first. Now, the second thing is this: you have a choice, right? Success, no matter what, is a choice. Every single time, it's micro choices to be for a big picture, right? Brick by brick. So I sit them down and just go, look, you have two options. You can listen to everything that I tell you and do everything that I tell you and do it my way, okay? And if you don't succeed, it's my fault, okay? But if Albert, you do it your way, whose fault is it? It's yours, okay? Right? If you do it my way and it doesn't work, I will just spend even more time with you. And let's say it's a leads issue, right? Okay. If you are literally to the T, and I tell people this, if you to the T do everything I tell you, start when you need to, you run a proper schedule. Okay. You work your leads properly, you run a proper presentation, you do the things that I'm telling you, guess what? And it doesn't work. Okay. It's my fault. And guess what? You know what? I will give you more leads. Okay. It will be me who will get you the next lead pack. Okay. Because I know, because for me, here's the thing. Hard work is hard to find, right? Okay. But once hard work becomes skilled, oh, it's game over. Game over, right? So I value people who work hard. And I just go, yo, it's time to make the change. You're going to listen to everything I'm telling you. All I want from you is work hard. I'm not asking for you to close deals left and right. I'm not trying to tell you need to be a high closing ratio type of person. That's not what I want. I need good work habits. That's all I'm asking for. I will keep getting, I don't care if I have to, spend thousands of dollars on leads. It never happens, right? Because the reality is this, it's hard work. That's it. It's work. Appointments. That's the only difference. You cannot be good at this, but if you sit down with 20 people, oh, man, you're running business. Like, are you kidding me? You're going to run into people who are like, yeah, I've been waiting for you. Like, yo, I just want insurance. Okay, well, welcome to Good Burger. Home with a Good Burger. How may I take your order? Right? That's it. You're going to run into those. But that's all my expectation is, yo, just run with me. Do exactly what I'm telling you. We're going to sit in this room together. I'm going to listen to every single presentation. And most of the time, and it's funny because I recently just worked with somebody like this. Identical situation. Yo, I've been here, not making it. It's so funny that you say this. And at 4 weeks of working with me, they hit their first $10 week on the fourth. 10 family. They hit their first 10 family week on their third or fourth week with me. Okay. And, during the weeks they were doing, 5, 6, 7, 5, 6 or 7 or whatever. And then finally on that third, fourth week, 10 families. And it was like, yo, what's the difference? Oh, I actually worked. It's like, oh, so you actually worked. You followed my system. You followed my process. You ran a proper schedule. You did the proper presentation. And all of a sudden, 10 families.
Yeah. So let's.
I didn't do much.
If you could define that, then, so what is the 10 family a week schedule that you would prescribe to a struggling agent?
How much would they need to work? How many leads they need
What's
to get?
the time frame? Yeah.
Sure.
When do they clock in, clock out? You're saying Monday to Friday, sometimes some Saturdays. What would brand new agent completely screwed up their schedules, completely screwed up their entire year? What's the first phase?
Yes.
It's Monday, come tomorrow.
So the number one thing that when it comes to schedules, you need to figure out your non-negotiable hours. Non-negotiable meaning, 9 to 6, 9 to 5, 9 to 7, whatever that time frame is. It can't be from 9 to 12. That's it. No, you gotta. Especially if you're coming from a 9 to 5 job or a full-time job, like, come on, let's be realistic. Do it the same way. Run an 8-hour shift. Do that for yourself. Clock in mentally, clock out mentally, right? So run a proper schedule. And I will even say it to them like, yo, I'm going to work from 9 to 2. Okay. So your expectation is going to be part-time results, just so you know. It's like, what result do you want to achieve? Oh, I want full-time. I want this. I want to make this. Great. So let's run a full-time schedule. But depending on time zones, I got people in all different states, all different time. They work all different time zones. What's interesting is a lot of my West Coast team, like people on my team, all work East Coast hours. They want to wake up early and then get done early. So I got people that are running from 8 to 5. It's a non-negotiable.
Right.
From 8 to 5. Obviously, take your breaks in accordance, right? But they will run from 8 to 5. Now, lead flow. If you do not have 100 leads at all times, you're going to fail. If you're trying to, this isn't like the old company, you're trying to milk 100 leads. Like, no, like you have 100 leads for 2 weeks. It's like, no, you need to continually feed your machine, right? For us, I mean, the big thing is 100 leads a day is what we preach. And we work a lot of aged, right? So 100 leads a day, get another set of 100, another set of 100, another set of 100. If you do that and it's a 4-day run of leads, right? 4 days in a row, 100 leads a day. Whether it's aged, new, it doesn't matter. As long as you have that, you will run a proper schedule. You'll be fine because you'll end up with 15 at the bare minimum appointments, 20 to 40 appointments. Okay. So if you keep doing that, it has to stay consistent. You can't just go and do it 1 week and then not do it the following week and expect the same result. No, if you keep it consistent, because the leads will roll over to the next week, continue to keep rolling over. But what happens is that your activity is constant because you always have something to do. The reality of our business is this. This business is one in between appointments. That is where this business is won. That's how you become successful here. It's what you do in between appointments. Because when you're in an appointment, you know what to do. There's no thinking behind it. You already know, I'm just going to do a presentation. That's what I'm supposed to do. Right? But in between is where that success is created. Right? Because are you continuing to make phone calls? If you're still in the field, are you doing drop-by, door knocking? Okay. Are you following up with your clients? Are you calling people who have been declined and getting them back on the books? Like, oh, I need to reschedule. We got to move you to a different carrier, whatever it may be. That is where it's won, right? And that is where a brand new person comes in or any current agent that's not doing well, I promise you, if you evaluate your schedule and what you're doing, you will see that in between appointments is the problem. Okay, because you're not doing what you're supposed to do. And that's why it's easy for me when I'm sitting with an agent to go, yo, run with me, sit in a Zoom with me. And when they're like not on an appointment, I'm like, yo, what are you doing? They're like, oh, I have my appointment in an hour. Okay, so what do you just got that sit on your phone appointment right now? Like sit on your Instagram? Like, what are you doing? Like, dude, you're already working, you're already here. Get something from it, right? Yep. You're already taking away time from your family, your kids, or whatever it is. Like, why are you not doing what you're supposed to do? Go to work.
What would you tell for those agents that say, like, I really want to make this thing work. I'm willing to put in the work. And then, you give them some guidelines, all that. And then they don't get on the Zoom. They don't turn their camera on. They tell you they've worked, but then you didn't hear a single thing. And it's like, what do you do in those situations?
For me, it's a non-negotiable. Like, if you want me to work with you directly, you're going to run exactly the way I need you to run for you to become successful, right? It's like, yo, you need to show up on Zoom. First, it's a schedule based on what you want, right? So Albert, what's the schedule you want to run? Okay. Oh, you want to start at 9. Cool. I will meet you on the Zoom at 9. Oh, you want to start at 7. I will meet you at the Zoom on 7. Because at the end of the day, it's like, yo, and mind you, you have this, it's a conversation. Everybody's an adult. It's like, yo, look, if I'm going to go out of my way to help you and take the time to help you, look, don't let me down in a sense of you tell me 7 and you're not there.
Right.
Because at the end of the day, that's your fault. Right? Don't do that. I'll do whatever it takes in my power to help you become successful here and get you right in business. But if you're not following your end of the bargain, there's nothing I could do for you. Right? And I've had you have these hard conversations with them. Yeah. You go, look, it's either you're going to run the right way or you're going to you might as well go do something else. Right? This isn't going to work for you if you don't want to work for it, So it's just having those hard conversations. Sometimes some people need it. And you have those hard conversations and some people need that kick. And guess what? The reality is your activity is the only thing that is between you and becoming successful here. That is it. Because the people who do not, when they're not writing business, I promise you, if you talk to them and have a conversation and ask them what they're doing in between appointments, always nothing. Or, oh, well, I'm calling. Oh, I have my appointments in an hour. I'm making phone calls. How many did you make? I like 4. Like, are you kidding me? Because and most people trick their mind into thinking, oh, well, that's working. I'm working. I'm doing stuff.
Right.
Yeah, but it's not productive, right? Like you
like
made
high
4 phone calls. None of them picked up. What was that? Like a whole 7 minutes? Like, what'd you do with the rest of the time?
Yeah.
So, and that's really it. That's the difference between most agents. It's just what they do in between. You'll notice that every time it's always nothing. They don't do anything. They're just waiting for their appointments.
Right. Well, I mean, so this goes to the conversation you and I were having the other day. You know, you talked about setting the standards for your team and having everyone work together. I mean, are there people that don't participate that still are find a way to be productive?
To a certain extent, I have a couple of veterans who are just, they were in the system of doing everything.
Yeah.
Because what happens, like I said, hard work is hard to find.
Yeah.
Okay. So you get these people and they work hard, and guess what? It becomes a habit. It becomes normalized and they continue to do it. But the thing is that for us, the Zoom it's a place to be. It's fun. Like people want to be here. Like, because you're around people who are doing the same thing as you. You're around people who have the same mindset. You're there to help each other. People will help you. Right. So for example, Zoom, you guys do a lot of Zoom right now. Are you guys doing a lot of Zoom right now?
Yeah.
Okay. Here's the thing. My number one thing is whenever an agent calls me and asks me for help, they go, hey, I have a question. I'm with a client. Great. What room are you in? Or which breakout room? And they're like, oh, I'm not on the Zoom. All right, well, I can't help you. I'm sorry. If you're on the Zoom, I can help you. No problem. Guess what? Nobody will ever call me if they're not on the Zoom. Never. There's no point. I tell them the same thing. You're not on Zoom. I can't help you because I can't see what you're doing. You're telling me, oh, there's medications, this, medications, that. It's like, let me see the quote tool. We use insurance toolkits. So it's like, let me see the insurance toolkits. Yeah, dude, I need you on Zoom. There's nothing I can do for you. Oh, I'm having a problem with the application. Let me see. Screen share it. Show me. Oh, well, I'm not. Show up to be on the Zoom. Can't help you. I'm sorry. When you're on the Zoom, let me know and then I'll help you. Right. Now everybody knows. Jump on the Zoom. Jump on Zoom. Because the thing is, you're sitting with a client. You don't want to lose the client over a small thing like that. An error on the application. Why that? That's terrible. Why would you? Or a question that they have that you can't answer. It doesn't make sense. So you see when you build that habit of getting on the Zoom, because everybody runs into something, right? But imagine, having Albert at your fingertips every single time you're sitting with a client. Oh, that's gold. How can you lose? Sitting with a client. Oh, you know what? That's a great question, John. Give me 1 second. Mute. Albert, I'm with a client. What do I do? Oh, okay, cool. Got it. Boom. Get back. Hey, so this is what it is. You can't lose. How do you lose? If you have, again, even if it's not just out, there's 20, 30, 40 other people on the Zoom with you. Yo, I'm with a client, guys. What do I do? Hey, screen share. Hey, guys, I'm running into an error. What do I do? Boom, fixed every single time. There's never any downtime where you're like, okay, hey, Albert, I need to call you back. Like, why would you tell a client that? Yo, I need to call you back. I'm not sure. It's a great question, but I don't know the answer. Like, kidding me? That's why the Zoom is so powerful and it's very important to be there because all of the resources that you'll ever need is there. You can't lose. How? And then you're watching other people work and you're seeing what they do. And it's easy for me to ask, hey, Albert, what are you doing between appointments? Like, oh, what are you doing right now? How do you, like, what should I be doing? You should be calling. You're going, okay, got it. So I should be calling. Oh, you guys, you're calling? Okay, maybe I should call too. Nobody wants to be in the Zoom and be the guy who goes, like, what are you guys doing? This is
so
cool.
they go on video, right?
Yeah. They turn off their video for that reason.
Right. like they act like we don't know why.
Come on.
Yeah.
But I think it's a very overlooked point. I mean, I think when you hold people accountable that way, if they're not on the Zoom with you and they want your help, it's like it's not you being a jerk. It's like you want me to be accountable to you. You got to be accountable to me too. In a way, it's like why. Like it's a totally fair arrangement.
It's just it becomes a one way when that happens, right? Like be at my call when I need you.
And it won't even help in the long run anyway, because that person just comes to you those moments in which they work and they expect to get help, and then they're gonna go back to not really working effectively anyway.
Right, because they probably don't have a schedule because they're not on Zoom.
Right.
It's only when they have that one appointment.
Yeah. I'm even right now. I'm working on another person right now who has the 1099 do whatever I want schedule, and he's like, "Yo, it's not working for me." I'm like, "Well, tell me about your days." Well, I go do this. I go to the gym at this time. I'm like, so you go to the gym midway through the day. First you start late, then you go to the gym midway through the day, and you end early. Like, what did you expect to happen, right? Well, it's like, oh, what time? It's like, oh, I go to the gym at these random times, or I go do this at random times. Like, why would you do that to yourself? Put yourself on a proper schedule. You'll thank yourself later because you'll have more time. You're not scrambling. You'll actually there's less anxiety when you have a real schedule. There's less stress because you know exactly what you need to be doing. Like, you'll follow it to the T. And again, being part of where everybody can help you, that's the most important thing. Because why not sit here and be able to ask questions to Albert, ask questions to John anytime you have an issue with, or whoever is in the Zoom. Why not? It's literally for the people who were in the field. If you've ever been in the field, who's to your left and to your right? Nobody. You're standing in front of a client. What happens when you have a question? They're like, let me make a call. But when you're doing virtual, you look to the left and to the right, there's 20, 30 other people in the room with you. Oh, gold. You're never going to have an issue. You have any questions? Answers there. Also, the key to that, unmute.
Yes.
You know, everybody fears it. Oh, I have to unmute. Yes, unmute. The reason why is because we can help you get better by listening to you, right? It's not like to shame you or anything like that. No, everybody knows, respect the presenter at all times. But it's there to help you, right? Because again, let's say a client has a question, you don't know how to answer, you look at the chat, the answer is already there. You don't have to do anything. You didn't even have to ask anybody. You just look at the chat and you're like, oh, here's the answer. Because people are listening to you. Now, another thing too is this, when it comes to presenting to clients, a common mistake of brand new people do is this. It sounds amazing to you as the agent, okay, who understands insurance, because this is what you do for a living. But it makes no sense to the client. Right. Remember that. You overcomplicate it because you're like, man, that was great. I just said something that sounded amazing. Albert, you should have heard me. It was amazing. But the client had no idea what you were talking about. It's like, keep it simple, right? And those things right there, because I've had people say things in their presentation and they're like, I don't know why. Everybody says, think about it, think about it, think about it, think about it. And you listen to the presentation, well, the reason why they say think about it is because of this right here, what you keep saying. Why do you keep saying that? I don't know. It just sounds good. Well, that's the reason why they have to keep. That's you're giving them the idea to think about it, right? So you gotta those things that you won't notice unless you like record yourself or other people are listening to you, right? Yeah, so absolutely. That's super important.
There's no more effective tool than just allowing people to listen to you so they can give you live feedback, or at least hearing the context in which it was needed to be, because you'll have people tell you afterwards, like, oh, I couldn't get over this objection. I'm like, what happened? They tell me their version of it. And I'm like, okay, I accept that you believe that's what happened, but I have no idea whether or not that's actually what you said or that's how you delivered it. Yeah. You know, so like, it's like, and you know, if it's a one-off, it's whatever. It's not a big deal. But if it's like a recurring thing over and over again, I'm like, okay, well, just get on the live dial so I can help you, please. Like I don't know what else to do for you, because you keep telling me a version in which you believe that you're right.
And then there's no proof.
And there's no proof.
Albert, it was the perfect presentation, I swear.
Right.
How long did you spend with the client? 2 hours.
It was the best presentation I've ever done. They still needed to think about it. It's like,
but he's gonna get it. He really wants it.
He said to call him back.
I got another question for you on the positive side, on like the winning side. I saw it just a few weeks ago, and you've been repeating it month to month. What's your highest families helped in a month?
Personal or team?
Your personal.
Was January. It's like 88, 87, 88.
Say it again.
87, 88.
88 families helped, right?
Yeah.
So on
87, 88, yeah.
You're basically doing 22 families a week.
Yeah, you're just working.
Yeah.
Here's the reality is, if you are sitting there, again, if you are actually, and I work proper schedule. I mean, I work a little more because obviously, yeah, you team and all that stuff, other things that I have to do, and I tell people all the time, I'm the only one allowed to overwork themselves because I can handle it because I've been doing it for 12, 14 years. Like, I get it. I know what to do, but
Yeah.
you work a proper schedule, you're fine, right? Because if I hold myself accountable to knowing I'm sorry, the easiest way to do it is always book a 9 a.m. or 8 a.m. Whatever your non-negotiable time is, that needs to be your first appointment. If you say I'm gonna work from 8 to 5 or 8 to 6, make sure you have an appointment at 8. Because if you do not, you have every reason to hit snooze.
Right.
You're like, my next appointment's at 9. Snooze. I'll wait till 9. No, but booking a morning appointments is like one of the first things that I do. Anytime I'm booking, I'm like, yo, I gotta book my morning first. Okay. Because I could always do same time flips, right? I could always go, hey, let's take care of this now. Hey, oh, you know what? I'll give you, what time do you get home? Okay, I can call you later today. You could always do that, right? You're not going to do it at 8 a.m. and call somebody and go, yeah, you want to do it right now? Yeah, right. You don't even have an appointment. You don't have a real reason to show up to the Zoom or show up to work for yourself. So always book a morning appointment. If you know that my non-negotiable time is 8, 9, whatever it may be, always book an appointment at that time. That should always be your target first appointment, because it will push you to always get up at that time, always make it on time for that appointment.
Yeah. So for your 22 a week type schedule, then just describe your schedule and how, if I came to you, money's not an object, lead budget's not an issue, I just want to follow your example of 22 families plus a week, 88 families in a month, what would you say to me?
100 minimum, but 125 to 150 leads a day. That'll get you there easily. 125, 150 leads a day, because you are constant. Okay.
And how many appointments are you running in a week?
With that, that's a 35 to about a 42 appointment week.
Okay.
Not everybody shows up.
Right.
Okay. It's not like a perfect everybody's there. Close ratio, even if your close ratio is 50% and you sit down with 30 people, that's 15 right there. And obviously within the 15, you're going to get your hire, you're going to get your husband and wife, you're going to get all the in-betweens. You're going to get the older client who has, because they're older, it costs way more. It is what it is. You're going to get those, right? That it naturally happens. But even at a 50% ratio, close ratio, you'll do anywhere between 15 to 20 very easily, right? But again, the difference is actually doing that, actually putting yourself to that schedule. And the reality is this: how many hours are you really working? 40, 50 hours? Okay. But even if you'd work 60 hours, let's just say you work 60 hours. What 60-hour job, 60-hour career or job is going to give you that 20 plus family income?
Right. Awesome.
Show me, show me. Nowhere. Right.
But this is just on personal production, not even overriding team volume or anything.
Yeah.
And you're doing this all on Zoom, and everyone else can watch you and listen to you, and
all on telesale. And I'm back to back. So I like to book on the hour. Okay. So I book every hour, and I will take double book every other hour. Okay. So if I do like an 8 a.m., for example, I'll take an 8 and then a 9, and then I'll probably do 2 10s. Okay. And then I'll take a 11, a 12, and then 2 1s. Right? Because I always like to, double booking is perfectly fine. People think like double booking is a bad thing. No, it's a good thing. Not everybody shows up. People have to reschedule. Their spouse isn't available. Oh, can we move this to another day? Whatever it may be. It happens all the time. And here's the thing too, is that if I'm sitting with a client and I'm running behind, I'll just shoot the client a text message. Hey, Albert, still working with another family, running a little behind. I'll be calling you shortly. Courtesy, let them know prior to. Okay. Even when you book, right? You go, hey, just leave me a window of about, 15 minutes. Sometimes, I'm with other clients and it does take a little longer than expected. Is that okay for you, Albert? Yeah, it is. Okay, great. That's when booking, right? And then again, shoot them that text message. Hey, running a little behind. I'll let you know. I'll call you as soon as I can. But back to back to back to back is the way to go, right?
Yeah, and
because you're busy.
And then to be back to back within an hour on hour, you got to have a tight script or a tight presentation, right? How long
Mhm.
does it take for your presentation until you get to an application?
Do you want to do it right now? Give away your secret sauce or what?
Appointments my appointment schedule is usually like 17 to 19 minutes, and then it's application. Application. I mean, I can go into some of the scripts so you guys get an understanding of what it is. Like, obviously, the beginning, the intro is the same for everybody, right? When it comes to presentation, it's like, why are you calling? Who is calling? Calling you regarding an appointment that we set, mortgage protection. But again, the how's time? Sorry, I know you guys are talking about time. I don't
Yeah,
know what your time.
Yeah, we'll just go through a quick one with us, and then we'll
I'll go
get you
through a
back
quick
on next
version
time.
or explaining of everything. So again, intro is the same for everybody. Why are you calling, right? Identify yourself. Why are you calling? Hey, I'm the one that was assigned your case. My job is to see if you qualify for the program. Okay. They just have me go over health questionnaire with you. So it's pretty quick and easy, right? Letting them know, hey, this is going to be quick and easy. I always make sure that they know, hey, this is not going to take very long. Now, credibility. We do credibility pages, on the website, and a lot of people still send, you can send them your license, you can send them an ID badge, however you do it, but always address it. I always address it. Hey, I just want to make sure you receive my my license information. Did you receive that? Okay, I sent you a text message with an image of it. Did you get it? Okay, so that right there is my license. As you can see, I'm licensed through the state of California. You also see my national producer number. That's like my business social security number. Okay, so that right there identifies directly to me, so you know who you're actually talking to.
Right.
Okay, great, got it. Now I know. Okay, even letting them know the reason, and also it's I am licensed by state, and just so you know, in order for you to talk to people about this sensitive information, they have to be licensed to the state. That's why I have a license. Okay, and then you're giving them an agenda. The agenda is important because you're setting the tone of what's going to happen in this appointment. You're like, hey, I'm going to ask you some health questions to see what you pre-qualify for. I'm going to go over your finances, go over some finance questions to evaluate the need for coverage. I'll go over options that fit within your budget. And then the last thing that I'm going to do for you, Albert, is I'm going to help you submit an application request for coverage to the carrier.
Right.
Okay. I'm going to help you. It's not, we're going to submit an application. I'm going to help you submit an application to the carrier. Okay. So telesales, the thing is with telesales is that it's all about how you narrate everything that you're doing.
Right.
That's all it is. It's narration. Okay. And one thing that I like to do is I like to stress the budget, not just once, not just twice, 3 times. I talk about it 3 different times because what's the biggest rebuttal? Budget.
Can't afford
Oh,
it,
it
I
has to
think
fit.
about it.
Has to fit. Has to make sure. I need to make sure it fits within my budget. So I let them know, hey, most important thing, Albert, when it comes to mortgage protection plans is that it does fit within your budget. Okay. And not just like your budget today, but your budget for the future, right? For the next couple of months, for months to come, years to come, because you don't want to have a plan in place. And then, something comes up, an unforeseen expense, a large expense. And guess what? Now you have to cancel this because you couldn't afford it. That doesn't make sense. It wouldn't do you any good. Wouldn't do your family any good, and it'd be a waste of money. Do you agree? Yeah, exactly. So me and you, same page. We know budget is important, right? So, and then discovery. Discovery is just a matter of, just to understand the situation. So I do a lot of mortgage protection, by the way, guys. So just to understand the situation a little further, who's going to be the one, picking up the pieces, taking care of your home when you pass away? Let them give you all the, my brother. Got it. Okay. Does he live with you? No, he doesn't. Oh, where does he live nearby? No, he's 45 minutes away to an hour away. Got it. Is he gonna, when you pass away, you think he's gonna rent it, sell it? Do you think he'll uproot his family and move in? No? Got it. So now I know what direction, right? All you're doing is painting a picture. Discovery is all about painting a picture. Explaining why, letting them tell you why they need it, right? Just like that. My brother's not gonna move into my house. He has kids. Like, why? He's not gonna take him out of the school district just to move in, just to take my house over. No way. Okay. So he's probably gonna sell it, rent it, maybe. Got it. Okay. Then a golden question, we use it's a feeler question. I don't know if you use this often, Albert, but once we do find a policy that fits your budget and does accomplish what you need, is there any reason why you would not want an application sent in to see if you could be approved, Albert? No? Yes? Oh, budget needs to fit my budget. Oh, I maybe need to think about it. Oh, that's not a problem, Albert. If we can't find something that fits your needs and your budget, it's not a big deal. We only want to do something if we can truly help you. That's the feeler, right? Because I'm going to throw it out there. Hey, we need to submit an application. How do you feel about it? Budget. I don't know. I need this. I need to think about it. Oh, that's not a problem. The carriers actually take about 1 to 5 days for the approval process. So once we submit your application, it takes about 1 to 5 days to get back to you anyways with a decision if you're approved. So Albert, do you want me to call you, text you, or email you when that approval comes in? Okay, got it. And then after you've been approved, you'll get a policy in the mail within 2 weeks. Okay. And if they can't get you approved, it's not a problem. Okay. I work with over 30 different carriers. I'll just move you to a different carrier that'll say yes.
Awesome.
Okay. So it's a takeaway, right? You take it away. You go through finance questions. I'm not. Everybody usually finance questions and health questions are fairly the same, right? Medical questions. After that, it's figuring out whether payoff or payment makes the most sense. Okay, depending on their age, their health, and that's the direction you'll go, right? I feel like everybody does the same thing, right? 100%, 75%, 50%, 6, 12, 18, 24 months or whatever of their payment, right? It's all the same. But the big thing is that second half is all the same, right? Putting together a plan that makes sense for the family. And it's just the setup prior to. The setup prior to going into numbers is what's important, right? Taking it away from them, giving them an agenda, telling them what, hey, budget, I need to make sure it fits your budget, taking it away from them, talking about the approval process. Hey, you can't actually make a decision today, Albert. It's just not possible because it takes the company 1 to 5 days to make a decision. You can't make a decision before they do, right? They have to decide first, then you can. Then on top of that, Albert, you have a 30-day free look period. So you have a 30-day window that allows you to increase it, decrease it, or you could just keep it the same.
Right.
Okay? So it's just all about setup, right? Prior to the numbers. If you are very clear and you've painted the picture properly, that picture needs to be painted. If they don't even know why they need it, they're going to think about it or they're going to say no every single time. I promise. But if you have that picture painted and you're letting them know when you pass away, not if, when you pass away, who's going to take care of the home? Your brother, your sister, your cousin, your aunt. Oh, your spouse is going to take care of it. Got it. When you pass away, what's the plan? Do you think she's going to move out? If the spouse is there, do you plan on, when the spouse, you always have the spouse there, of course, but do you plan on moving out? Do you plan on, selling the house, renting it? What is your plan? You got them both there. Of course, I'd want to stay living here. We have our kids. Okay, great. So basically, you just want to make sure that, when Albert passes away, you don't have to worry about losing the home, that you can continue to live here. Right. And financially, obviously, you don't want to be in a bad situation where it's not affordable and it gets foreclosed on. Right. Fantastic. Take the picture, reiterate why they need it. Make sure you get them to tell you why they need it. Because if it's your idea, it's a bad idea. If it's their idea, fantastic idea.
Right. Awesome stuff, man. I mean, that makes too much sense. And the thing is, obviously great presentation and makes a lot of sense as far as the logical progression of it. Yeah. But it's not anything that's not available out there. For all of you guys watching, I mean, first of all, I just want to thank Harold for making some time for us and sharing how his team's been exploding and really growing and how you've been working with your guys and holding everyone accountable. But everything that you've shared with us, I mean, for as laid back as a dude as you are, I think everyone can't really overlook the fact the reason why you're growing, the reason why you can help 88 families in a month is the fact that you're putting in that work. There's no secret to this.
No secret. It's appointments. That's it.
Cool. Well, we'll need to have you back on again, and hopefully next time we'll get you in studio when you come down to Disneyland or something again.
We do go to Disneyland pretty often.
There you go.
Not like we usually do like 4 times a year.
Wow. That's 3 to
Alright.
4 times more than I go.
We'll see you next quarter.
That
Yeah.
sounds like John.
All right.
John
Well,
does
well, I appreciate you coming on. And for everyone else that's
Nah,
watching, appreciate you guys.
Yeah.
John, Yoel, thank you guys. And
Thanks for having me.
see you guys soon.
Thanks, Harold.
Let's be
Good looking
elite.
out.